But
Homie, oh, wait a second. Don't say Johnathan Coachman. I better say the coach with me today. How you doing, buddy?
This might have been the shortest interview you've ever done if you called me Johnathan Coachman. But you remembered. I'm thrilled to be here. I am so proud of you for what you're doing. You've always wanted to do this. So I'm very honored to be on your show, KERA.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. You know what? I'm not going to say much at this second, but I'll tell you the way I love to start my show is let me give you your flowers. So I want you to sit back, relax, and take your flowers. You okay with that?
I'm good with that. You bet.
Okay. Woo. It's like, where do I start with you? Man, I really, you know what? I was just thinking to myself, Coach, you one of those people that if I don't see you in 20 years, I feel like we'll have the same energy with each other. You know, you got a good spirit. I was telling people you like the sweetest asshole I know. Like, you never treated me bad, but you know how I would describe you is you are a manly man. You a guy's guy. But you just a good guy, and I hope people know that. You know what I mean? You always showed me the utmost respect. Now we don't got into it maybe once or twice, you know, but it was cute. It wasn't nothing too bad. But
No.
you know, I always appreciated you. So I just want to tell you thank you so much for joining me here today. So
well, the thing is that the way I look at this world of entertainment and sports, and you always want to be such a big part of it. You had so much talent in the music side of things, and I always want people to get their shine. I want people to be able to live up to what they want to do, but I'm also kind of tough on people too, because at this level, not everybody can do it. And so I don't like to butter people up and say, yes, you can. I'm very honest and I'm very real, and I'll help if you ask for my help. But if you're not willing to put in the work, then I don't have a lot of time for it. And I think that's where my tough love comes in. But with you always had a very clear vision on what you wanted to do. And you also understand it's hard to get there. So you're putting in the grind, you're doing your thing, and one step at a time. And a lot of people, they quit along the way. And that's the easy thing to do. The hard thing to do is to keep it going. And that's what you're doing. So thank you for the kind words. And let's chop it up.
Yes. And I hate to drag this on, but I have to say, because I had our fellow former ESPN, I guess employee, Mike Hill on this show, and I got in his ass about an argument that happened at work. But when I thought about it was actually our argument. It wasn't Mike Hill. So I really have to apologize to him.
Well, he was just getting ready for his next life after ESPN and being part of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And all they do is argue on the show. So that's what he was just getting ready for, the arguments before the arguments that he's in now. Because I think more people know him now for Real Housewives of Atlanta than they do for being a sportscaster. And that's okay. However the shine comes. So good for him.
Yes, it is. And you know what's funny? You and Mike kind of remind me of each other because, I told him he totally upgraded his life after ESPN. He looks like a totally different person to me anyway. He's so suave, and, the style came up. And when I look at you, I'm like, you are two different people. I see the coachman or coach from WWE. You had your hair, but I just feel like when you went bald, you like a totally different person. You big and you buff now. Do you see that in yourself? Or did you transform?
Well, I think it was a mental thing more than anything. I loved being at ESPN. I was there for almost 10 years. But part of the reason that I left and we parted ways after a decade was I really had dreams that I wanted to aspire to. And part of that was also changing the person that I was, not just from the inside, but from the outside too. I wanted to feel good about myself. And I also wanted to be able, if I speak to a college group or a high school group, or I just deal with anybody that comes up to me in an airport or wants to chat about anything, that I'm living up to what I am teaching, preaching, and living every single day. And that means being physically fit. It means being mentally fit and being able to take on any conversation. So that's kind of been the mental approach So I've really worked out really hard the last 3 or 4 years, but I think it's more a mental approach than a physical approach, to be honest with you. Plus, I'm not working till 3 a.m. anymore like I did every single night. It's hard to get up and want to work out when you're up till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and you got 2 little kids at home and all the things that I dealt with when I was in Connecticut. So life is good now. I'm happy. I have a job that I love. We help people. We bring people up. And I've never been happier in my professional life and my personal life, to be honest, than I am right now.
You know, that's amazing to hear. But it's like when you see people like you and you do well in so many other jobs and the person say, well, I'm so happy right now. I have to tell you, Coach, when you was at ESPN and I knew about your previous jobs, you brought this excitement back to ESPN, in my opinion.
Thank you.
You brought it up an extra tier. When you were in Sports Center, we knew you was in Sports Center. Do you know what I'm saying? You had your little routine that you would do and we would laugh with you. But you took it seriously, you know, and you were just fun, you were dancing. And when you left, I missed that. I was like, why did you leave? Because it just seemed like, and I know you just said it, but
I'll tell you exactly.
Was going good for you, you know.
Well, it was, but I guess the comparison, KERA, is I'll say it like this: I was a great fill-in player, so I had my own radio show on the weekends. I could do First Take when the regulars were gone. I could do Sports Center on ESPN late at night. You know, everything was about, yeah, you're good enough, but are you good enough to be the man? Are you good enough to have your own show? Are you good enough for us to hand you the baton and you run the race with it? After 10 years is the limit. I was in WWE for 10 years, ESPN for 10 years. And to me, if you don't reach the top of the mountain within those 10 years, then it's on you to move on. Because I can sit here and complain about executives at ESPN till the day is long. But it doesn't change the fact that they make the decisions. And as talent or as producers or as stage managers or as anything, it's on you to do the job that they hand you. And I knew that my long-term goal, because I'm a great leader, I was born to be a leader, but I was never going to be a leader there. They were never going to say, Coach, you can be an executive and you can host Sports Center. Now, I do appreciate you saying that because I'll be honest with you now, when I turn on Sports Center, other than some of the older guys that I worked with, I don't know who any of these people are. And when I came from WWE, I really fought with executives over using my nickname, over being entertaining on the air, using music, me and Max actually dancing and having branded segments. All those things were for a reason, so people remember. So the next morning they say, hey, did you catch one word last night on Sports Center? All those things, there's a method to the madness. I don't do anything without a reason for it. And so the reason I left ESPN, because I wanted to go someplace where that was respected, where they said, hey, Coach, here's the ball. Run with it and see what you can do. It took a couple of years, but I now have that. And I'm in a position now that I could work this job and for this company at CBS for the next 30 years until I retire. And that's what I was looking for. And thank goodness I found it. It's not easy in this business because this business is like a pyramid. The higher you go, the less opportunities there are to have. And so I've been very blessed in my career, but I'm probably more blessed now than I've ever been and doing things that I want to do. That's a nice marriage, and that's where the happiness comes in.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that. And, you know, I try to stay safe about talking about big companies. You know how it is, but I have to say with ESPN, I learned so much there, but I know exactly what you're talking about because my thinking is I feel like sometimes talent who are really good on air, they don't fight hard enough to keep. I feel like they keep they keep like 2 people for a long time that they really like, but the other talent that are new or coming up or people like you, I feel like they should have fought for because you guys were bringing some exciting energy there. Like I take a person like myself who, you know, had to fight so hard. I mean, I worked behind the scenes, but I mean, I went out for a job for talent, a talent producer where you book talent. They wouldn't even interview me. They just sent my resume back. And look at me now with my own show out for a year. I'm booking comedians, Grammy Award winning artists, musicians, and they wouldn't even give me a chance.
Here's the problem that you encountered, and for your viewers watching at home right now, I want them to be very, very clear on this, because I know there's a lot of young people watching now that are going to be starting their careers or getting into things they want to do. Your talent is not enough. Mm-hmm. My talent is not enough. My problem at ESPN was there was an executive in charge that hated pro wrestling. So what are the odds? What if that person loved pro wrestling? And he says, Coach, I'm going to shoot you to the moon. He could have done that. He could have done that. And the same person could have done that for you if they just took the time to look and say, okay, she's already here. She's great. Talk to a couple people that you worked with. Oh, she's great to work with. She's a hustler. That's what we need when we're booking talent, because it's the hardest thing to do at ESPN. That years ago, you could get any talent to come to Connecticut. Then after a while, people realize, like the big stars, like, wait a second, if I say no, then I can stay in New York and they'll interview me there. So it became even harder to book talent. And I would want somebody like you that doesn't take no for an answer to be in that position. But that's the biggest reason I want to be an executive someday, because I'm not going to look this fresh forever. I mean, I've done pretty good.
Yeah, you look good.
There eventually is going to come a day when they're not going to want me on TV anymore. I'm going to be too old to be on TV, whatever the case might be. And I still want to be valuable. And I'm valuable as a leader, because then I can help bring people up that ran into the same issues that you and I ran into, that now are dealing with an executive that's open-minded, that listens, that says, you know what, just because you're 23 or 25 or 27 does not mean that you're not smart enough to have ideas that we can use. And I believe that's where the future is. And until companies, I don't want to see anybody lose their job, but if executives don't evolve and change their thinking, then they've got to go. Because there's a lot of younger executives that can come in and really take whatever company it is. And I'm not just talking about ESPN, whatever it is, leadership is key. And that needs to change, and it needs to change immediately, especially with the climate that we're in after COVID, as almost everything is changing and starting over.
I totally agree. And I'm one of these people, and I know a lot of organizations feel like they can't be like this. I like to find what lane people are good at and try to maximize that. And I feel like a lot of companies, they can't spend the time to do that. But if they could, they would get so much more productivity out of the employees. I just want to let people know, because it shows about learning. You don't know how many times people came up to me and said, KERA, you got something. You're talented. I don't know what it is, but I like your charisma. And I had people say, you look like you should be on TV. I mean, I'm country as can be, but people would tell me this, it didn't stop, but I just wasn't getting the opportunities, or it wasn't catching on. But what you learn is that everything in your life has a purpose. God has the perfect plan for you. And I'm telling you, after ESPN, that became so more evident to me, Coach, that everything happens perfectly.
You're 100% right. Let me tell you a very quick story that's going to line up perfectly with what you just said. So a year ago, right smack dab in the middle of the pandemic, I was on pace to have financially the biggest year that I've ever had. And all of a sudden, I had 6 different projects or 6 different jobs, however you want to look at it, and 5 of the 6 just ended. Nothing I did. And like a lot of people in different professions, they all lost their jobs. So I had to sit there, and it took me about a week, and I was angry. I was ticked. I was like, I left ESPN to do this. I set everything up. And then all of a sudden, something completely out of my control ended it all. But then after a week of feeling sorry for myself, I got back on the horse. I said, what can I do that's going to be pandemic proof? That's going to have so many different lanes of revenue that I can help people, that we can do the right thing, all those things that we just talked about. And I put together a plan. And I said, you know what? Sports betting is exploding in this country. Networks are now getting into it. Can I be the face of all the sports betting stuff for a network when they're pouring millions and millions and millions of dollars into it, and make it classier? Because when people think of sports betting or bookies from the old days, they think going to the corner and settling up on Tuesdays, looking around so nobody sees you. And we wanted to class it up. We wanted to change the game. So I pitched it to several networks, and CBS bit. And now, 8 months later, we're killing it. We're expanding. They're starting an entire sports betting network, and we're doing everything that we ever said we were going to do. I've got an incredible team of 10 people that work with me, for me, whatever you want to say. And we're just getting bigger and bigger by the week. And a year ago, it wasn't even a thought
Look
So
at
I
that.
encourage people at home, write down your ideas, pitch
Yes.
them against the wall. Because I also learned during the pandemic, people have no imagination. Meaning if I pitch an idea, I hired a producer to edit it so I could show what I was talking about. And they go, oh, I see now. That's what he's talking about. And that's what got these shows off and running. So do it, go the extra mile, and understand you have to show people what you're talking about. Don't think that they can imagine and go, oh, yes, you'd be great for that. Show them that you'd be great for that.
Yes. And I love what you just said. My whole thing is you have to envision, you have to have the faith, you have to see the vision in yourself. If you can't see it, you can't have it.
You can't have it.
You can't have it. And Coach, I know you will agree. Once you align yourself with what you want to do, it just starts falling in place.
100%. 100%.
You know. Now I want to take it back because I don't know a lot about your beginnings. You know, now I hope I don't insult you, but are you mixed, right?
Yes, my father's black, and I was actually adopted. My parents live in Kansas. I was born in Texas. I was there for a week, but my dad is black, and then my mother was half black and half Italian. And so that's where my mix comes in. Yes.
Okay, let me get that again. So your mother was half black and Italian.
Like half Italian, yeah. And then my father was black. So I'm like 3/4 black, yeah, but technically mixed, yes.
Well, you're pretty black though. You're pretty black. you know those Italians did a little dabbling. So brother, you're pretty black. Okay. Get out of here.
I'll take it.
So you were adopted. Wow, you know what? I didn't know that. I totally forgot.
Yeah. My parents are the most wonderful people in the world. They're both white, and they were told they couldn't have children. My dad's a United Methodist pastor. My mother was a school teacher. They've been married 53 years 2 weeks ago. My dad had a heart transplant 2 years ago. We almost lost him, and now he's on his second heart, which is amazing. If anybody's ever gone through it, they know what I'm talking about. It changes your family, your dynamic, your emotion, what you believe in, all those sorts of things. But they adopted 3 minority children in Kansas, living in small towns back in the 70s when it wasn't cool to do that. And then my mom, by the grace of God, after she adopted 3 kids, she got pregnant with my younger sister. So there's 4 kids, 3 adopted, and then my sister came much later. So it's a pretty cool story. And I have the greatest parents, most giving parents, supportive parents. But they also made sure that where we grew up, they would always put us in position to be around other black people, black influences. So we understood. And I think that's also why I've been able to get along with anybody in my life. It just doesn't matter what you are, who you are, what race you are. It's never been an issue for me because of how I was brought up. And I'm very grateful for that.
I was going to ask you that. Did you ever have to struggle with identity? Because a lot of mixed people say that they feel between the 2 races, and sometimes they don't feel like they get support from either one. I know you said your family kind of were around you, but was there any point in your life out at school or in the public that you had to deal with that kind of struggle?
You know the reason I didn't, and sometimes I hate it, but I also understand it, because my entire life I was always really good at sports. And sports is what I call the ultimate common denominator. That you could have a young kid who's 16 years old who may have never been around a black person, a Spanish person, an Asian person, whatever it is, but yet you put them on the same team and all of a sudden they have something in common, and that brings them together, and then they can learn how to realize what the other culture is all about. So from a very, very young age, even though I grew up in small towns in Kansas, I was always one of the best athletes. And so that made it much, much easier for me. And I fully admit that, and I fully understand that. And it's still somewhat that way today. No matter what the sport is, no matter how old you are, sports is the common denominator that brings it together. Now, for those who don't have that ability to have sports bring them together, I completely understand their struggles and understanding that identity. I think the only struggle that I've ever had is whether or not what my background is. I know what my biological parents were, but to be honest with you, my upbringing was so good. I haven't spent more than maybe 5 minutes in my entire life thinking about what that life would have been like or what it'd be like if I met them. I don't need to meet them. I'm in my 40s now. I'm good. So I've never struggled with that because of sports. And again, which I'm so grateful for, because anybody that says, I'd love to go through the struggle. Why? I want to help with the struggle and how I live my life so other young Black kids can look at somebody like me or somebody like you and say, you know what? I can do that. You know what? I can be like that. I can be a good person. It can be cool to be nice. It can be cool to be positive. I don't have to be all those things to be cool. And that's what I try to do now, because I'm just trying to change the game. And I'm tired of young kids thinking they got to do certain things to be cool. You don't. Because when you get older, nobody cares about that kind of stuff.
Right.
They don't. They just don't.
So I have to ask you this. Being someone who was adopted, did that make you be a different kind of father to your children? A different kind of parent, I guess I should say.
That's a great question. I've never been asked that question before. I'm sure it has some effects on it. I know that with my two kids, 13 and 11, girl, boy, I've been so blessed. They're amazing. They were both born right when I got to ESPN and then 2 years after that. I don't know. I do know that because I did not have a relationship with my biological father, that I think I've gone above and beyond, but I love hanging out with my kids. I love playing with my kids. I love taking them to stuff. They're great about going to, they love sports like I do. So we go to games all the time. We're at the beach. We live 5 minutes from the beach out here in California. So I'm sure it has something to do with it. But for me, it's about just understanding how well my father did raising me and our three kids, and wanting to live up to that and living up to the standard that he set and that my mom set and that people I respect set. And I think I lean more towards that than anything with my upbringing had to do with it.
You know, I don't know if you remember, but I came to your house. I think it was your daughter had a birthday party, and
Yep.
I had a great time. And I think you were the first talent who ever invited me over. And I want to say thank you, because sometimes I would feel out of place. I don't know why. I don't think I'm paranoid, but I always feel like I'm just a little different than everybody, even though, you know that I'm very popular, but at the same time, I'm kind of an outcast as well. That's how I feel. So I don't know if other people look at me that way, but that's how I feel. So when you invited me, I was very honored, and it made me feel special. So I appreciate that.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to come. And the one thing that I've done, not just at ESPN, but because of my upbringing, I have been wanting to be a sportscaster since I was literally 6 years old. It's the only thing I've ever wanted to do. So when I was 6, I didn't have any money. I didn't have anything. So why, when I get to here and I've made it and I'm at ESPN or whatever, why would I act any differently than when I'm 6? Simply because I have a job. And that it still drives me nuts to this day that certain people, and I'm not even thinking of anybody right now, but there are a lot of people out there that when they become on TV or big TV stars, that they change or they look down or they say, hey, don't look me in the eye. This crazy stuff. And I've undressed some talents over the years. Let's be honest, I'm 6'3", 240, and I can hurt a lot of people. So whenever somebody be that way at ESPN, then I would kind of be the one to call them out, because I'm the one that nobody's going to mess with there, because most everybody is much smaller than me. And I hate when people, because of what they do or the perception of where they are in their lives or careers, aren't allowed to hang out with you or can't be at your house or should feel out of place. That's crazy to me. And I won't allow that, or I would not allow that when I was at ESPN. So I was very proud to have so many different kinds of people in my home and celebrating fun occasions with us. We always had fun parties. Most of them were kids' parties, but it was fun. We had a good time. So I'm thrilled that you felt that way, and you're very welcome.
Yeah, as long as food and some juice there, I'm good to go, buddy. I don't care.
I always had the food.
Look, I love cake, so you had me at cake, brother.
That's so funny.
I want to say this. You don't know how many people, like, I would go to like TV events, and when I would come back to work, I've had people who I would wave and they would keep walking like they didn't even know me. It's one dude I kept saying, hey, Mr. Jaffe. I would say his name. I think it was Jaffe. I was like, hey, Mr. Jaffe. That man was just looking like this. He would not say hello to me. I was like,
you know what it is? And you used the name of, he was there like 40 years, right?
Yeah,
so yeah. I call it protecting their pension. when they get past a certain point in their careers and they've been at ESPN or any other network for a long time, all they do is protect their pension. They're like, listen, as long as I'm good after I'm 65, it doesn't matter what happens out here. And when you get to that age, like 60, 65, a lot of people don't care to look anybody else. Or they're just like, listen, just let me get to the finish line. Just let me finish this race that I won. And I have found that a lot of people are like that. Instead of trying to make their workplace better and saying, listen, I've been here 40 years, but let me walk out the door by helping to make this better. They don't want to ruffle any feathers or they don't want to throw anything off because they're just trying to get to the finish line. I'll never be a guy that just tries to get to the finish line, because all you can leave when you're done, no matter when you are done on this earth, is the memories and then your legacy on did you make your space better? And I just want to make the space that I live in better.
You know what? I appreciate what you said, and you said it nice, but I call that just being a dick. And I'm sorry, Mama.
It is no, you're right.
He was a dick, and if we wasn't at work, I would have cursed his ass out. Like, Mama, come on with your ears. I would have been like, you bitch, you know good damn well you seen me. Oh, whole ass. Excuse me, Mama. I'm sorry, Lord. She told me to keep my integrity. It's out the window, boy. That man pissed me off. Yeah. I was like, you know, your old ass saw me. They had dirt to get a black journalist award. I'm like, he won't even speak to nobody black. Well, how the hell he get this damn award? Kiss my ass. Okay. Sorry. Oh, you know one thing about me. I don't like no fake shit. Now I don't like no fake shit.
No, you do not. No, you do not.
Oh, get the hell out of here. Look, this probably gonna be the most insulting game you ever played, but we about to play it, okay?
All right, let's play it. Is this gonna get me in trouble? It's not gonna get me in trouble? Okay. Good.
This game is called How Black Are You?
Oh. Okay, I'm ready. Let's do it.
We're gonna see how good your white parents did, okay?
I can honestly say I've never played this game before. This will be a first time.
5 minutes ago, so I know you ain't played. You killing me, Coach. You killing me. Ooh, okay, here we go.
All right.
Okay. Do you like Kool-Aid?
Do I like Kool-Aid?
Yes.
I think a lot of people I've worked with over the years have drank a lot of Kool-Aid.
And this is the wrong answer. It's either yes or no, okay?
I love Kool-Aid. Grew up on Kool-Aid, yes.
Okay. Is red a real flavor?
Of course it is. And plus you have to get out of the packets, not out of the bottle. You got to open the packets because you buy them individually.
Okay.
Right? Right?
Yes. How much sugar do you put in it?
Well, there's already a lot of sugar in it. So you got to remember, when my parents were teachers and United Methodist ministers, so sugar intake was very low in our house. So it was a treat when we got to have Kool-Aid. So no sugar added.
Okay, so that's very white. Okay,
I know.
That's very
But
white.
I still have good teeth. So I'm good.
Okay, I just want to let you know you're gonna use half of the sugar in the sugar thing. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna move on to the next one. Where my game go? Collard greens or cabbage?
I hate cabbage. So I'm going to go collard greens. I've never liked the taste of cabbage. I just never have. And I only have collard greens. My sister went to Clark Atlanta. And so whenever we go to Atlanta, she always wants to take me to in her words, the blackest places possible. So half the time I'm like, should I park my car here? But the food's fantastic. So we're good.
That's awesome. Okay. I'll take that answer. Okay. Fried cornbread or Jiffy? And I feel like you haven't had any fried cornbread, but let me know.
I love cornbread.
Mm-hmm.
Fried cornbread, I don't know that I've ever had that. I don't know that I've ever had fried cornbread. What's the difference?
See, my country ass gonna help you out, okay?
Thank you.
You get some cornmeal. Arnett's is the best, okay? They only have that in certain places.
Okay.
It's kind of like making pancakes. You're gonna get you some water. Well, first you're gonna put the cornmeal in a bowl.
Okay.
You're gonna get you some water. You're gonna stir it up. Okay. You don't want lumps in it. You don't want it too watery. Okay.
Okay.
You're gonna have your skillet on the stove. You're gonna put you just a little grease in there. Okay. Like you make your pancakes. Then you're gonna pour it in there. You're gonna hear it sizzle. Now you're gonna start seeing the edges of the cornbread get crunchy. Now, once you see that, you're gonna flip it over. It's gonna be brown on both sides, and there you go. That'll be your fried cornbread, baby.
All right, I got cornbread, skillet, grease, pancake, edge, crunch, flip it over. You're good to go. Is that right? All right, let's go. Let's go,
baby.
I'm gonna try that very soon because I do. Now, when I was married to a white woman. You'll be very proud to know my sister is very happy that now my incredibly better half is a black woman. So that's how black I am. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I got the same reaction from my sister too.
Oh my God.
She used to hate that I always dated white women when I was growing up, right? And then I married one. And she was like, there's only so many educated black men out there. You need to hold out for it.
Coach, you nice looking too.
Oh, well, thank you.
I'm happy for you. Does she got a little booty on her? Does she got a little booty?
I'll send you a picture. She's gorgeous. She's got everything on everything. Yes.
Okay, I'm happy for you, brother. Yeah. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I've been very pleased. The black community has embraced my relationship, so I'm excited about that.
You was a fool. Okay. All right. Is watermelon really good or not?
Funny story. So when I was a young kid, we used to go to a lot of street festivals because my dad had to go with his job. So we went to one street festival and they had a watermelon eating contest. True story. The winner, now remember, I'm like 12, was a $10 gift certificate to the local grocery store. And so I said, I'm going to get into the contest. I ate 3/4 of a watermelon in 10 minutes.
Oh, you know, you felt sick.
I felt sick. To this day, I cannot eat watermelon. I cannot eat watermelon. I won the damn contest, but it ruined me for life on watermelon.
You got traumatized.
Big time. And I still think back because I was wearing my glasses. I had so much watermelon in between my glasses and my face. We had to take the glasses off, and I had to eat the rest of the watermelon, not be able to see anything. And that's hard to do. When you're looking around, all you see is just figures. But I knew then I'd also never be a competitive eater. Also, it's hard to do. It's really hard to do.
Gross. You know how many times I had to sit at ESPN and watch that hot dog competition?
It's the worst. It's the worst.
It's the worst. Okay. Now, you should know this if you've been around me. Now, don't disappoint me on this.
Okay.
Okay. Here it goes. What does the word finna mean?
Finna?
That's black Southern slang. Finna.
Oh my God. I'm embarrassed. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, I'm finna go.
Oh! I was thinking it was like an object. I thought it was like a noun. It's like I'm finna go.
You about to be black after this, boy. You blacker than black.
I'm gonna use all of it. I'm gonna use all of it.
Okay, next one. Are cornrows still in style for men?
Cornrows, I don't think they are. Too expensive, takes too long to do. I don't think anybody wants to do them correctly. Because of my little bit of mixedness, I never had the hair to be able to do cornrows. And I don't think I would have ever taken the time to do cornrows, to be honest. So I think they're quickly going out of style.
Okay, you know, that was a trick question, so I will accept that answer, okay?
Thank you.
The correct answer is just, it is in style, but it's not in style, okay?
Okay.
Remember when Jerry Rice had his cornrows back here? Remember Scottie Pippen? I love you, Scottie, but let it go, okay? If your hairline's back here, it's time to let it go.
I once told Mike Tirico, who's one of the greatest sportscasters of all time, one of my heroes, and his hair was like right here.
Oh my
And I was like,
God.
Mike, you got to take it off. And luckily, he's a black man, so he can get away with it. A lot of people don't have heads that you can take it off. So when you do it, you got like a lump here and a lump there. But I said, you got to take it off. Another funny Jerry Rice story is I was doing Sports Center, and I remember I knew when he was not going to make it in television.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're the greatest of all time doesn't make you the greatest on TV. And I remember asking him, going, hey, Jerry, who's going to win tonight between the Jets and the Patriots? He looked right at me. He goes, Coach, the Patriots, they have to play well on offense and defense. That was it. That was it. And I looked around the studio. I was like, is anybody else laughing? Because I'm laughing, but I was on the air, so I couldn't laugh at it. And I was like, he's got no future. And I think he lasted like another week or two at ESPN, and they got rid of him. So that was my Jerry Rice moment, I guess.
I love that, Coach. Oh, my God, I love that. Okay, we are ridiculous.
This was so much fun.
Thank you. The last question on this game.
Okay.
Did you get whoopings growing up? If so, have you ever had to go get a branch off of the tree outside?
Never had to get a branch. My dad was a belt guy. And the one time I remember really getting it was right when we got to the age where they let us stay home by ourselves without a babysitter. I think I was 11, maybe 10. My older sister had earrings in her ear, and we got in a fight, and I actually ripped one of her earrings straight out of her ear.
Oh, my God.
Like, it came through her ear. And so she called the neighbor came over. So when my dad got home, they were not happy with me. And it was the only time in my entire life to this day that I ever used the F-bomb on my dad. And as it was coming out of my mouth, I was racing towards my room and closed the door. And he gently knocked on the door and said, son, you got to come out and eat it sometime. So if you want to eat, then you're going to eat this right now. So I had to take it if I was ever going to eat again. And clearly I ate again, and I'm here. So that was the only time, though, that I can remember really taking a good whooping.
Well, it worked because if your child is good, they don't need that many whippings. So, yes.
That's true. I've never had to spank my kids. Never had to do it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you for playing that game with me.
No problem. That was fun. That was a great game.
I made that game up in like 5 minutes. I'm a genius.
She's so smart. Where did she come up with it all?
Thank you. And before they come at me, I just want to let people know that my cornrows are not acceptable. They are old. I had to travel. I'm out in California today, and so just put that out there, okay?
It looks good though. You can't even tell. You can't even tell they're old. They look great. So.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, boo. I'll take that.
Yeah, you wouldn't even have to give the public address announcement right there. Nobody would have noticed.
Okay, my bad. I'm all I talk to you. Look at that. Look, before we get into the WWE and you get out of here, I gotta go over some celebrity news with you because just like me, you're very blunt, and I want to get your opinion on a couple of things that are in the headlines right now.
Sure.
Okay. So, we have here. Now, you know who Ice-T is, right?
I am familiar. Yes.
Okay, I brought him up on a couple of shows, but today is something different that's going on. Okay, yeah, his wife is still breastfeeding their 5-year-old child. I find that to be a little bit crazy. I wasn't going to ask you about that, but she's also in the news for saying she only takes baths when she feels icky. Now, what's your opinion on that? Because even Ashton Kutcher and I forgot his wife's name.
Mila Kunis.
Mila Kunis. They also said that they don't take a lot of baths, and they all have young children. Now, what's your opinion about bathing?
You bathe every night, every single night. My house is full of now. I was like this before, but Crystal, my better half, she's insane about smells. She'll come home and buy like 20 candles. I'm like, why did you buy so many? Oh, you're just like, buy 10, get 10. I'm like, you didn't have to buy 20. But I appreciate the sentiment because our house smells amazing. When we come back from anywhere, you can smell it. And as far as being, what do you mean when you feel icky? I feel icky at the end of every day. Right. So this whole, but it's funny because Ice-T and his wife years ago, when I was in the WWE, we had some casual interactions because they love to hang out with some of the talent at WWE. So I've been around them. And I used to be a big fan of the reality show, and I love Law and Order. But she's gotten a little bit weird over the years. And breastfeeding a 5-year-old is just, it's not right, but it's not my 5-year-old, so I'm good with it. Oh, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, bathe every night, please, people. Every night.
And I just, I'm sorry, Mom, but I gotta say this, and I hope for people who have oral sex, I'm like, okay, that's all I gotta say. Okay. Let's see. Celebrities are now promoting meals. Now we got the singer Sweetie. She has a meal at McDonald's you can get. Now it comes with a sandwich, fries, I believe some nuggets, and a drink. And Wiz Khalifa, he promotes stuff on like one of these Grubhub apps. Is this, should celebrities stop promoting food? Aren't we fat enough? Or do you think this is a good idea?
I think earning a check is a good idea. And at the end of the day, when one of these places, because it happens to me quite a bit too, you'll have companies coming at you and say, hey, listen, we'll give you whatever. And all you got to do is and now sometimes it's as simple as making a post on Instagram or Twitter. So after the year that everybody's had, I'm not going to hate on anybody for making money. And you'll also notice it used to be a long time ago, big time celebrities would only do commercials outside of the United States because they didn't want the perception that they were doing stuff below their stature as a movie star or TV star or whatnot. Now you got big time movie stars making movies on Netflix. They do not care where the check comes from. Just make sure the check comes.
And
so
it clears.
I'm good with it. And it clears. Yes.
Ching,
yes.
ching.
Yes. Yes.
Now, this is really breaking a lot of hearts. Steph Curry's parents are getting a divorce.
Yep.
Now, his mother is saying that, well, his father said that his wife cheated, okay? The wife is now saying he cheated. Now, Steph Curry has been able all these years to have a clean image. So I'm just surprised that this is coming from the parents. I mean, they have the right to be divorced. What is your feelings on this, John? I mean, excuse me, Coach.
Well, I did read the whole story, and so I'm very up on the story. And I'm surprised it took this long to get out because they've been separated for over a year. All right, there are just certain families that you look at and say, man, they're perfect. Yes. You know, and the old saying, there is not a perfect family, it doesn't exist. And when you have two sons that both make tens of millions of dollars, you got a dad who played in the NBA, all these things are believable. And what she's saying in the divorce is it was an open secret in their family that he had been cheating for years, and she just got tired of it after 33 years. That's what she said. Now, when you live in the NBA, because I have worked with a lot of NBA players, and you've been around a lot of NBA players. It's a different lifestyle. I was in wrestling. A lot of the people I worked with had a wrestling road life and a home life. It was two completely different things. Now, I was never there to judge, but I would meet the girlfriend out on the road and then also meet the wife at certain times. They can do what they want to do. But eventually, after 33 years, it's going to come to a head. And you say, all right, I'm in my mid-50s. I still have a little bit of life to go, another 20 or 30 years. Am I going to leave it miserable? Because I am divorced. I know what it's like. Am I going to live miserably and stay here because the public says that I should? Or when think about this, money's not an issue for them. That whole family makes so much money. So now it's just about the emotions and living your life and not worrying about all these different things. So yes, it's shocking, but not as shocking because after 30 years, you want to live. You want to be happy. I'm so happy now. I would not have been that if I would have stayed married. So I respect what they're trying to do. Just don't sling mud. And you don't need to sling mud. But when one does it, the other one always seems to want to fire back. I would just keep my mouth shut and move on down the road.
And you know what I find interesting? Someone told me that Steph Curry has closed his comments on Instagram, but Steph Curry has them open. And I think that Steph is a little bit more talkative and blunt than Steph. So I don't know if he did that because I don't know why he did it.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because Steph Curry makes tens of millions of dollars in endorsements. His brother does not. And he can't shut them off. People buy his tennis shoes. People buy his hats or whatever it is. He's got to stay. And for him,
Mm-hmm.
There should be no embarrassment. He didn't do it. He's still married to Aisha. He's got a beautiful family. Those are his parents. And yes, and I've always said this, is that everybody, when you're in it, feels like it's never going to end. I promise you. Story came out today, finally. It will be old news by tomorrow. People move on. They don't care about other people's problems because they got problems of their own. So this is not going to be a big issue for anybody in the Curry family.
Well, I think the biggest thing is, and I'll let it go after this, both parents are very nice looking, and people are already in Mrs. Curry's DMs. I did see a couple of posts where people
I saw that.
holler, and I don't blame them. She's gorgeous.
Yes, she is.
And I know she's not gonna have any problem, and he's a nice
man. She's already living with a new guy. She's already off the market. She's already off the market. So all those DMers, sorry, not gonna happen.
I really do hate to see them divorced after all that time, and seeing them at the game and cheering for their sons. It's just gonna be different. That's where my mind immediately went to, is all those shots of them sitting together and screaming and yelling. And now you can't sit, when it's acrimonious and it's public, you can't sit together at the game anymore. Right. If you're not a public, one's gonna have to sit here, one's gonna have to sit here. That's gonna be the part that stinks. Because then now you're feeding the fodder. Now you're feeding the TMZs on whether they're sitting together. Are they back together? Or are they just getting along for the family? There's no more little kids at home. There's nothing they have to save face for. All their kids are grown. Just keep it moving. Now, one more celebrity headline I have for you, because I just want you to tell me, is this right to do this? Is it going too far? Now, Kanye West and Drake, we know they have a beef with each other, okay? It goes back a little while with throwing shots at his, Kanye threw shots at Drake having a child. Well, it was actually the other rapper who did it, Pusha T. Yeah, Pusha T. But he signed with Kanye, right? And so then Drake was supposedly dating Kim or having sex with her behind the scenes. Now, Kanye decided to post Drake's home address, okay? And then he deleted it now. And then Drake went to his Instagram, and I guess he just wanted to let everybody know he wasn't worried about it. So
I think I lost her. Oh, shoot. That was a lot of fun. Oh, darn it.
okay, let me see if I can do it from my phone.
I'm looking at him right now.
Okay, so let me just try to reconnect then.
Coach, she be right back with you. She connecting back to the internet. It dropped at the hotel.
It happens all the time to me at hotels, bro.
All right.
Yeah, all good. All good.
the ghetto of it all. You see, guys, I'm at a hotel and this Wi-Fi is rinkety dink.
It happens to me all the time. The hotel they make me stay at for PGA Tour events in Florida, it's the worst. It's literally the worst. So I have to go all the way to the studio just to do my shows when I can stay in my hotel room because I can't, because this happens too much. It drives me bananas.
Oh my God. Well, we're back.
All good. We're back.
And so we left off at Drake and Kanye. And I just want to know, is posting somebody's personal address going too far?
To me, rap beefs are kind of like rules in war. That you've got to make them. Like in war, when you have a prisoner of war, you don't kill them, you use them for leverage, right? That's kind of how a rap beef is. There's certain things that you don't do. You don't cross the line, and you don't post somebody's home address because that can be very dangerous.
Yes.
I'm all for rivalries. That helps sales and all that. But don't put somebody's life in danger in order to do it. But Kanye, we've seen, and Kanye's a perfect example of it doesn't matter if you're crazy, you can still become a billionaire because if you just read the headlines, nobody likes Kanye. He's the craziest person on earth, but yet he still sells a lot of music. He still makes a ton of money from all the different things he makes. His shoes are still incredibly popular. So when people say, oh, nobody likes him or Kardashian, I'm like, listen, we're educated people that don't spend a lot of time tweeting or on Instagram, but there are a lot of people out there that think Kanye West or Drake or Kim Kardashian, that they walk on water, which is how they become billionaires. The one thing I know, you don't become a billionaire by not selling anything. Yeah. I know that for a fact. But this never should have happened, and Drake's going to end up winning. It's only a matter of time because Kanye will implode himself. Drake won't even have to do it. Kanye will do it to himself.
Yes, and that was headlines, folks. Never give out somebody's address. Remember, that's how that rapper got killed because he was taking a picture and his address pop smoke.
Well, but he also was showing the $500,000 in cash that he had. Right. So that didn't help him either. That was kind of his own fault. But you're right, because people knew where he was and they knew he had $500,000 inside that house.
Rest in peace, Pop Smoke. That was just horrific. Now, I got to ask you this question. This is going to segue into our next topic.
Yep.
Do you still hear people call it wrestling?
With two S's and an L-I-N-G, very, very rarely. You're probably one of the rare ones. Most people now call it sports entertainment, but pro wrestling is the easiest way to say it. But mostly we would hear that when we'd be down in Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, those states. A lot of people there would call it wrestling, but not too many.
Yeah, you real country when you say wrestling.
That's right.
I'm not that country anymore. I've been tamed. Okay.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Now, you were part of the wrestling world when the biggest stars were there. I mean, you were the GM of Raw. I didn't even know you had that much power. You were doing it like that, Coachman.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
It was an incredible run. And I can tell you that I never dreamed about being in the WWE. It was never something I aspired to do. I was going to do what everybody else does, local TV, and hopefully get to ESPN someday. And at the age of 22, I just had a couple of breaks. I happened to be in the building when Owen Hart tragically fell from the Raptors and died. And because of that, it's a long string of events. But I was only in Kansas City in local news for a month when that happened. 4 months later, got a job offer from WWE. And then 5 months after that, I started in 1999. So it was a great run, 10 years. And doing all the different things that I got to do really got me prepared for whatever else I was going to do after it. But getting to work with, I mean, The Rock's right at the top of the list. And me and him were together for like 2 years. Every interview, every skit that he did was basically with me. And
do
so
you guys still stay in touch?
I mean, social media will DM every now and then, but when it's guys, you know, I could not see him for 20 years. We get back together, and that's what was cool about being at ESPN, because he would come to promote his movies, and so I'd get to see him every 6 months or so, and that was really cool for me. But then everybody at ESPN would come up and say, "Coach, I know you guys are shooting something makeup today. Can I come in and meet The Rock? Because there were strict rules, as you know, that you weren't allowed to ask for autographs. You couldn't ask for pictures or anything like that. So,
and I did anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Some people did anyway. You know, it was the way that you would go about and do it. You know, so yeah, my WWE days were great. Unfortunately, I went back a little bit after I left ESPN in 17 and 18. It's not the same as it was back when I started, but man, did I have fun. I got to see the world. I traveled all over the world, over 100 countries. We performed everywhere, and I had a ball. And for the first 5 years, when I was single and traveling everywhere, there is not a better job than having somebody else pay your bills to travel all over the country. And we had a blast. To be honest, I'm lucky to be alive at this point. I'm grateful to be alive, and I'm grateful for my time in the WWE and for the talent that I got to work with and be right next to. And The Rock was right there. He's the most talented, humble, good human being of a star that I've ever met.
Now, I did get to meet him. He was a nice guy. Now, I just want to know, do you really know how great you were on that program? Because I know people tell you that, but at that point of your career, did you know you were doing a great job? Because I know anchors, and I know sometimes when you're going through it, you're doubting yourself. Did you feel like the person we were seeing?
Well, in the WWE, they did a great job, again, in my first run, of making my character, the coach, to give me the creativity to come up with stuff that we were doing. And that's when it's fun. When you can say, yes, I was a part of it, and then it was successful. There is nothing better to me, no matter what job you have or what you're doing, but especially in entertainment, because entertainers, whether you're a musician, actor, sportscaster, whatever, our egos are very, very fragile because this is a subjective business, not an objective business. And the difference is you could have the wrong person in charge. You may never get to the promised land. You have the right person in charge. You may be terrible and get to the promised land. So I was very grateful that Vince McMahon, who a lot of people love, a lot of people don't love, I've got both feelings for him this current day. But he did prepare me for anything else that I would ever do after WWE, talent-wise, timing, how you treat fans, how you treat people, culturally, being around all different cultures, Asia, Europe, Australia, wherever it was. For that, I will forever be grateful that he prepared me, and that job prepared me for the rest of my career and my life.
See, that's the way I feel about ESPN too. Yeah, I can't talk too bad about it because it definitely taught me so much. This is going to be the most important question I've asked in doing this interview, Coach. Do you still know how to do the Charleston?
These hardcore journalistic questions.
Yes.
That's probably the most viewed or reposted thing that I've ever done. And what's funny about that is that when me and The Rock would sit around, and he had a head writer, and he had one guy that just wrote for him. That guy is now working with his production company, $7, and he's in charge of a lot of things. So he left the WWE too. But the one thing I learned is that the more you can laugh at yourself and allow other people to laugh at you while still having some sort of dignity, but then be able to flip the switch. And I was a heel, so I was a bad guy. So I could make fun of myself, and then I morphed that into being a bad guy. And then full circle, 2007, 2008, Rock came back, and now we were on the same level. I got to talk trash to him, and he got to talk trash to me. So the Charleston was one of the first things that we ever did where The Rock made me dance to Charleston. He also made me sing Copacabana because I was a big Barry Manilow fan. And I actually, because of that interview and singing Copacabana, the manager for Barry Manilow, which I understand may be the whitest artist on planet Earth.
I was thinking that in my head. I didn't want to say it.
I get it. No, believe me, I get it.
Hello, Carlton.
His tour manager called me. Yeah, and he said, "Do you really like Barry Manilow?" And I said, "Yes, I like some of his music." And he said, "Well, he's coming to Radio City Music Hall and would love for you to come as our guest." So who's going to turn that down? So it was around Christmas time. There's nothing better than New York City in the wintertime when you're walking and the breath is coming. I just love it so much. And Regis Philbin, God rest his soul, he was sitting right in the seat right in front of me. I'll never forget it. And I had a blast. But those are the type of things that being on that show could provide. Is you never know. I didn't go into doing that and say, hey, I'm going to end up at Radio City watching Barry Manilow. But it was cool. And those are the type of things that would happen to me and to people I worked with. And that, to me, is what life's all about. We don't know how long it's going to be. So just try to get the experiences wherever you can and be open to trying them and be open to going. And that's what I've always been about, and I continue to be about.
Now, I just have one fan question from you. It actually comes from somebody in my family, which I wouldn't normally reveal, but my brother actually wants to know, I'm putting him on the spot. He feels like the wrestling, and I'm not saying WWE because it changed the name too much. I don't know what it's called now. Okay, WWW, WWE, WCW, I don't know. Okay, the wrestling platform. All I know is I grew up on WWW, okay, and WWE, okay, but he feels like it's become overly sexualized, and the men and the women. What's your opinion about that?
I would agree with that till about 5 years ago. During my time, yeah, I mean, we had a guy named the Godfather, and his women were called hoes. I mean, that and he was popular. He's in the Hall of Fame. So, but now because of TV contracts, because of playing to kids. They have so many things that are bought by kids, T-shirts, animals, stuffed animals, those type of things. They stopped that like 5 or 6 years ago, wearing the stuff that's going to show all the skin. Now, do they still look good in their outfits? Yes, the women look good in their outfits, but they don't play to that anymore. We had a thing that I was in charge of back 15, 16 years ago called the Diva Search. We traveled all over the country looking for the next woman. We made them dress skimpily back then. That would never fly today. And they would never do it today. So I disagree with your brother that, and I would guess that your brother probably hasn't watched wrestling in a while.
Right.
That's what I'm guessing. Yeah. It's okay.
We grew up on the woo.
Of course.
Now those are homies right there. So you already know Shawn Michaels and all of them.
Now I will say this: you talk about black being white. Ric Flair is probably the whitest black dude that you've ever met.
No, he's black.
Once he
black.
did the Ric Flair drip with Migos, all of a sudden he just checked that box and he was good to go. So. Rick loves rap music. He thinks he's part of the Migos. If you ask him, he's the fourth member of the Migos. So, so I love talking to Rick about rap music at 73 years of age.
Let me get this straight with you. He been accepted with the black folks before Migos. We love Ric Flair. He got that black style, that black,
of course,
that love,
He dresses well.
Yeah.
He has a saying that everybody can do.
Yeah.
And that's what crossover ability is. And he's always had the crossover. Plus, his sounder, it's played in every arena, every baseball stadium, every football stadium. So everybody knows who Ric Flair is, black or white.
Yes. Before we get out of here, Coach, I want you to do one thing for me.
Okay.
Please do it. I know you can come up with stuff really quick. My name is KERA Dangerous. Come up with me an intro real quick and pretend like I'm a wrestler and I'm coming out, baby. I'm coming down. Come on, baby.
Okay.
Introduce me. Come on.
Okay. All right. And her opponent. She is one of a kind. She's the reigning, defending, undisputed WWE Women's Champion. Please welcome to the ring, KERA Dangerous.
That was so much fun. Thank you so much.
I had a blast.
Please tell us what you got going on so we can watch you and make sure we stay in tune.
Well, thank you very much. Certainly, Sportsline is a big part of CBS, and we do all the sports betting stuff there. We have a daily show called The Early Edge. It's going to be an afternoon show starting in football season. I'm also part of the PGA Tour. I call golf events periodically. really the easiest way is to follow me at The Coach Rules on social media. I always post everything that we do there. I'm also still one of the voices in Madden, the video game, so I'm very excited about that. So we're still doing that as well. So that's a lot of fun. But CBS is my main thing. And just follow me on social media, and people can see all of our stuff there.
Coach, this has been so wonderful. I knew I was going to have a blast with you. I mean, I really love you, man. You a good dude. And I feel like if I see you in another 5 years, we're going to be the same. I don't have to ever worry about you changing. I appreciate your authenticity. You know, I can't say the word, but you got me.
It's okay. I got you.
Help me your authenticity. There you go. I appreciate it, baby. I mean, you know, I'm just feeling so much love from you. I'm glad you got a Black woman in your life. Y'all haters don't get on me, but I'm happy for the boy. That's what I'm talking about, boy. That's what I'm talking about.
I should bring her in here right now and put her on camera.
Bring her here. I don't give a damn. Bring her in here.
Hey, Crystal, come in here. You want to see her? Okay, I'll bring her in right now. We'll put her live on the show.
She probably gonna curse you out after the show. I'm gonna let you know.
Oh no, she won't. Oh no, she won't. Yeah, she'll bring her in. No. While she's coming in, I will say thank you. Get Crystal real quick. Can you get her real quick? Well, first of all, thank you. I had a blast. Like I said at the beginning, I'm incredibly proud of you. And what people need to understand, doing interviews is very, very difficult. And asking the right questions, not answering your question is, and you got that skill down to a T. And I wish everybody could watch how you do interviews, make people feel comfortable, and also ask the right question. All right, come here, sweetheart. You're going to be on camera. You're going to be on camera. Okay, she's getting her head up. So I'm doing the show, right? So the big topic was that I'm finally dating a Black woman, and they don't necessarily believe me. Oh boy. So I said, hey, I'll put her on the show right now. So, well, first of all, here's my. You haven't seen this kid in a minute.
Oh my God!
You haven't seen this kid.
Cute.
I know, right? Last time you saw him.
Isn't she
I
from
know.
ESPN?
Yes, yeah, he remembers you. Yes, you came to the birthday party.
Yeah.
He goes, isn't she from ESPN? I said,
Wow.
yeah, he remembers.
Oh my God. I love you so much. You're so cute. Look at his cute little face.
There you go, buddy. All right, so here, I swear to you, everybody home, come here. Okay. Come here.
You said she was getting her hair done.
No, there she is.
Hi.
This is Crystal.
Can she hear me?
How are you?
No, she can't hear you. She can't hear you.
Let her get an ear.
Okay, all right. Here. She wants to talk to you.
Oh my God.
We're live on her TV, on her show right now.
Hey, how you doing? Girl, he got him a real Black woman. Okay. Oh.
Here, put the other ear in.
Okay.
You got you a real Black woman. She got the boobs. Boy, you better go. You went black, baby. I love it.
I told you. I wasn't lying.
You know you ain't going back now, baby. You ain't going back. I'll tell you that now, boy. You ain't going back. Baby, you got you a good one now. Treat him good. I like him now. Yeah, you better treat her good, Coach. You got you a Black woman. You better treat her good.
He's amazing.
Sister, hit me up if he don't treat you right now. I got his ass. Okay?
Promise. Sounds good.
Thank you, honey. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Okay. Coach, you done made my damn day.
How about that, huh? Thank you, sweetheart.
Oh man, Coach, I love you so much, man.
I really, really enjoyed this. So thank you.
Hit me up anytime, man. You ain't got to be a stranger. Shoot me a text sometime, you know?
I will.
Let me know you're good. And
I will.
Love you, brother. You take care. And
Love
God
you
bless
too.
you. All right.